Senator J.D. Vance just destroyed fake news. So what is this? NBC, MSNBS? I don't know. NBS.
Well, Kristen, first of all, you said that it happens all the time, that the number 3 person in the Department of Justice jumps ship to join a local prosecutor's office to go after the president's political opponent. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of American democracy, and I don't think that we should legitimize it. Now, if Donald Trump's attorney general had his number 2 or his number 3 jump ship to a local prosecutor's office in Ohio or Wisconsin, and that person then went after Donald Trump's political opposition, that's a different conversation.
Senator,
all he's suggesting is that we should investigate credible arguments of wrongdoing. That's all that Donald Trump is saying. That is not a threat to democracy. That's merely reinforcing our system of law and government.
Y'all see this? I keep seeing this. Anytime somebody brings the truth about Trump in regards to this, they always try to cut him off. Always. Both times I've seen this talk being had, I've seen the host desperately try to interrupt or cut off the speaker, and the claim that there is no evidence that Biden is involved in any prosecutions of Trump. And we all know that that right there is BS. But speaking of Donald Trump, y'all, who is his VP? I really want to know, who the heck is he picking for his VP? Because today we got somebody who, making a real strong case today. I'm getting introduced to Senator Marco Rubio. I've heard his name before, but I don't think I've reacted to anything in regards to him. But he strongly confronted CNN and defends Trump as he seeks the vice president spot. Says Trump will be too busy undoing Biden's damage to go after him or his political enemies. And notes that, when he was in office for the 4 years, he ain't do nothing. He ain't go after Hillary, which we wanted him to, and all these other people. But anyhow, let's go ahead and shut this clip, break it down, y'all. I'm loving watching the left-wing media news and legacy media get chopped down today.
that he would go after Joe Biden, that he would go after members of the Biden family. That's never something that we've heard
Donald
Joe Biden
Trump
say.
has said that no, he hasn't. And I watched the debate. You guys did a great job. I watched it, and he was asked, and he said, my vengeance will be winning and restoring America, making America great again. He did not say, I'm going to go after
Not
them
at the
and so
debate,
forth,
but he
and
has
I'm
said
going
it
to put them in
elsewhere.
jail.
Not at the debate. You're right. He said it
He has
elsewhere.
repeatedly said that his revenge will be to make America great again, to undo all their bad public policies.
Well,
and
let
by
me
the way,
ask
he
you-
was president for 4 years. He didn't go after Hillary Clinton. He didn't go after Joe Biden. He didn't go after Barack Obama. He didn't go after
So
any
you
of their
feel
consultants.
comfortable. You're telling me
we didn't
right
see
now-
under him what we're seeing now.
You're telling me right now that a second Trump administration would not go after any Democrats, any of its political opponents, full stop. You've confidence that that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. He was president before, and he didn't do it then. He's already said that he wouldn't do that. He'll be too busy undoing all the damage of this disastrous presidency.
Let me ask you something else about
He'll
the
be
future.
too busy securing our border and making America prominent and respected in the world again.
Speaking of what a Donald Trump next White House would do, there is a conservative effort. It's called Project 2025, and it includes several former Trump administration officials. They are arguing, and they have in their platform, if you will,
He
to
has
purge
nothing to do
thousands
with
of
it.
purge thousands of civil servants from federal agencies, vastly expand the power of the presidency. And I want you to listen to what one of the leaders of Project 2025 said this week.
Let's listen.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Are you comfortable with that?
Well, he's not running for president, is he? I mean, our candidate's Donald Trump. I didn't say Donald Trump say that. Donald Trump's running on common sense, on restoring common sense versus the lunacy of the last 4 years and the far left and the shadow government that now is running our country with Joe Biden as its figurehead. That's what he's running against. I mean, think tanks do think tank stuff. They come up with ideas. They say things. I like Heritage Foundation. I agree with some of the things they stand for, but there's a bunch of scholars and people that turn around and work on different projects. But our candidate for president is Donald Trump.
That's
and
right.
Donald Trump is running on restoring common sense.
That's right. Y'all
working-
keep trying to mix them together and merge them together. Like, okay, Project 2025 has some ideas that definitely we all on board with, some common sense ideas. But then you got some ideas that's like, hey, you know what? Not so much that. And that's okay. Because They're not running for the president of the United States. Like he said, Donald Trump is, but they keep trying to pin Donald Trump to that. Despite Donald Trump actually coming out on Truth Social and saying he ain't got nothing to do with it. Nothing.
Class values and making our decisions on the
Like,
basis
absolutely
of
nothing.
that, not on ideological lunacy, which is what we've seen over the last 4 years under Joe Biden.
Is that what Project 2025 is? Is it ideological lunacy?
No, I think it's the work of a think tank, of a center-right think tank, and that's what think tanks do. I can assure you, I don't have them with me today, but I've seen plenty of write-ups, frankly, not just from left-wing think tanks, but from columnists and others who are opinion writers who have actually come up with crazy ideas that are now the policies of the United States under Joe Biden. Things like, I don't know, letting people into our country and releasing them because there's no danger. Now we see that there is danger. Things like attacking American energy. And as a result, now the cost of living for all Americans has gone up. Those are radical ideas that began in the faculty clubs and in the think tanks of the far left that are now the policy and the laws of the United States in 2024.
Yeah. Just for the record, the numbers at the border are the lowest now than since 2021. But I want to ask the question right now.
10 million people are in our country illegally. They're murdering people every day.
Just 8 days from now, the Republican convention begins. Donald Trump is expected to announce his vice president. He's holding a rally in Florida on Tuesday. What's the latest that you have heard? Any meetings, any conversations?
Well, like I would tell you on television today.
Why not?
Look, I've heard nothing. I know nothing, and you probably know more than I do about it. Donald Trump has a decision to make. He'll make it when he needs to make it. He'll make a good decision. I know for certain that I will be out there over the next 3 or 4 months working on behalf of his campaign in some capacity. I know that I'll be in the Senate, and I'll have an opportunity to continue to do that. And either way, all I care about at this point and what I care about the most is that we can't afford another 4 years like the last 4, and I'm willing to help in any way I can. And but as far as making an announcement, that's up to him and their campaign, and I don't have one for you this morning, that's for sure.
The Constitution says that presidential electors cannot vote for a president and a vice president who are both from their state. You and Donald Trump are both residents of Florida. If you're chosen to be his running mate, are you willing to move to another state or resign your Senate seat?
Well, I'm not. That's presumptuous. I don't know. I have no idea who he's going to pick. And those, like I said, we'll confront those issues when they come. But I think it's comforting for Americans to know that when Kamala Harris becomes their nominee, she can't pick Gavin Newsom, because I don't think we can afford as a country to have 2 Californians with their crazy policies become the law of the land.
Senator, you haven't thought about this at all? You haven't at all had any discussions with your family, with your advisors on the what if? Do I have to leave
I like
Florida?
his demeanor.
Do I have to resign my Senate seat? That's not something you've even considered?
I think it's presumptuous to talk about any of those things in public, because President Trump hasn't made those decisions. When he makes those decisions, no matter who he picks, then those conversations will happen regarding whoever he picks. But we're not there yet. But we will be soon, one way or the other.
I just want to note for the record, you used the word public. You don't want to have the discussions in public. Thank you so much.
Well, because they're not.
They cut him off like, oh man, they did not have to do him like that at all. They did not have to do him like that at all. But yo, he was really, really witty, sharp with it, and wasn't there trying to spew any lies with his wittiness. He wasn't trying to get out of nothing. But he was just on his toes with it and checking it every chance he got. You know what I mean? Every chance he got. She really tried to sit there and bring up Project 2025, all that. Somebody wrote right here, why didn't Marco Rubio put her on the spot? Asked the specific dates and times Trump supposedly made these comments. This is the number one question we all have, honestly. Why not put the mirror back in their face and ask them the tough questions, man? Really? Honestly. If a large outlet like CNN is going to make these claims as facts, they should be pushed to show the evidence of their stated facts. Yeah, man, I'm reading the comments right now. What else we got? Trump must drain the swamp after he's reelected. What a leftist creep the CNN reporter is. Absolutely no effort to be unbiased. Is this what journalism has become in America? Of course, this is what journalism has become in America, especially since Obama allowed the BS and propaganda to be able to be spewed in the media without any consequences whatsoever. But the left is really worried about is Trump actually holding them accountable. That's what they really mean by, they don't want Trump to come in and be this dictator and go after his political opponents. What they're saying is, I don't want him to do what we're doing to him already. Like, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, if he come in, he gonna mess up all our money and all this other stuff. Yeah, they worried about that, man. The choice of VP is entirely up to Donald Trump. You see, she was trying to sit there and ease it up out of him as best she could. Kamala Harris being the president, yeah, like he said, that'd probably be good, because, we ain't gonna get Gavin Newsom as the VP for sure on that. But, yeah, man, we definitely need Donald Trump back. He will be the VP. It makes the most sense. Somebody wrote, they really think voters care if politicians get locked up on either side. 80% of Americans want a clean state and welcome it. This is a scare tactic that only works for a small percent of voters and 100% of the politicians. Definitely true. If Rubio becomes VP, we're screwed, somebody said. This dude is 100% deep state. They'll get rid of Trump in 6 to 9 months, and then shit will get real, is what he wrote. Ouch. Ooh, I don't know. This could be, a bot right here. It could not be, but we don't know. Somebody else said Marco is not going to be the VP. So we still don't know who's going to be the VP, honestly, man. We don't have no hints at it, but I love watching CNN get taken down, NBS get taken down as well today in regards to Trump and these fake news outlets. And now what the left is doing is trying to get everybody to go ahead. Hey, if you're going to accept the election results regardless if we cheat and don't get caught when we cheat and the whole world, like that's pretty much what they asking.
Will you accept the results of the 2024 election regardless of who wins? Yes or no?
As long as it's fair, man.
I will accept the results if it's done in a fair and transparent way.
Do you have reason to doubt that it would be done in a fair and transparent way?
Well, let me put it this way. In the 2020 election, there were a lot of irregularities. I think everybody on both sides should be aware of that and should be working to try to satisfy that.
Well, the empirical, and frankly, I know that you're somebody who's drawn to that. There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud that would have changed any result in the 2020 election. Does that suggest to you that the elections and our democracy remain intact?
It's a lie.
The fact that there are so many people who are skeptical should raise questions for us. The fact that a country like France outlawed general mail-in balloting in 1975 because they said there were too many opportunities for mischief that just could not be controlled. These are all things that we should look at. We're smart people. We can put a man on the moon. We can figure out a transparent way that is satisfactory for the entire population, not for just one segment thereof.
Do you think that we shouldn't do mail-in ballots?
We shouldn't.
I think mail-in ballots for people who can't get to the polls are appropriate. But I think having an election season versus an election day is a mistake.
Why is that?
Because there's too many opportunities for mischief. And, when France changed their system, they have their results the same day or the next day.
That's a very outlandish statement she just made. There's no proof. What? Have you logged on to X lately? Honestly, man, it's so much. Did you know that there are people that got locked up for some voter fraud? I know it wasn't about the presidential election, but it was also the woman. It involved one of the women who definitely was stuffing ballots during the presidential. Anyhow, y'all, and her name was Wanda. Y'all look it up, man. Y'all think we just be talking to talk. They trying to get us to conform. They trying to get the mindset and the indoctrination together before the results happen, before the BS starts to hit the fan, y'all. Stay safe out here.